You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Kay Adams, Jane Moore, Katie Piper, and Nadia Sawala.
Welcome to your last Loose Women of the Week. We are easing you into the weekend with all of this. Coming up, you can see from the suntan, Nadia is back from her holiday. But find out what her daughter Maddie said to make her cry her eyes out when they were away. As we ask, is your parent relationship always the blueprint, or can having perfect parents actually be damaging? Also, speaking of marital bliss, we have got the ultimate wedding dilemma, the forward-thinking daughter and the disgruntled father of the bride. So who is in the wrong? Stay tuned to hear the juicy details and make your own mind up. And
I am terrified of relapse. You know, like, if I do that again, everything will end. There is no one-size-fits-all for everybody. And whether or not I am destined to be this forever.
well, that was Busted Matt Willis, bearing all about addiction in his new raw and honest documentary. Matt will be joining us to tell us about the incredible response that it's had, moving forward with his family, and the amazing plans that he has to help others. But first... Oh, a dramatic start for you. As one paper today says, is it the end of Enders? I know.
No.
I know. Apparently fans of the iconic soap are turning off with a TV Insider warning that it's a worrying time for EastEnders. We could be watching its final years, which all feels a little bit drastic, doesn't it? Because it's still hugely popular. Nadia, our one and only EastEnder on the panel, having played Annie Palmer. Would you be sad to see EastEnders
You know what? I
go?
still can't believe I got part in EastEnders.
Neither can we.
I still can't. But do you know what? I was so broke when I got EastEnders. I used to walk along the streets kicking around to see if I could get 50 pence to buy a jacket potato, and I'd put it in the oven. I just couldn't believe. I still am in shock that because I was such a massive fan of it. So, you know, the whole family, we were appointment to view, we used to watch EastEnders, and I never thought I'd have a chance.
It was so huge at that time, wasn't it?
When I joined, they were 18 million
Yeah, but
viewers.
that was when it was the Angie and Den days. I think it was like 25.
Yeah.
See, I'm of the era that when I
30,
joined...
someone's just said.
Yeah.
When I joined Loose Women, I was sat in a meeting like, it's Annie Palmer.
Did you?
Yeah, because that was what I grew up with, watching her as this
You never
huge
said that.
character. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And it was so iconic. And I think, you know, you'd go to work the next day and you'd talk about EastEnders because everyone you worked with watched it. You know, it was just the thing.
Let's remind everyone.
Are we going to see a clip?
You can handle most things, I'm sure.
Yeah, but not this. I don't think this is a good idea, Annie. Me and Tiff are settled for the first time in ages, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Not quite the impression I got. Don't wear a ring for starters. And I had the feeling this blessing you've got coming up was the last thing you wanted.
You still use that voice now?
Now, if you were on the panel, if you were a guest on the panel, we'd say, so you're going to go back? We would ask that question, wouldn't we? So
Yeah.
We had a few months ago on, didn't we? We had the new exec,
Chris,
who's just brilliant, because I think he's doing exactly what it needs, which is staying away from the huge, crazy stories and just getting really good characters.
Yeah.
To do juicy...
You're dodging my question. Would you go back?
We don't want to lose you here,
I mean, the thing is, I am not ambitious for a career as an actress.
Yeah.
If I thought I was going to have huge fun, I would. You know, I'd go back for a few weeks and I would have fun, but I'd have to know that I was having fun.
Yeah.
Did we film your exit on the show? Yeah, hang on.
Oh, a
Let's have look at
fake
this.
exit.
Let's look at this.
With...
Annie, get out of my pub.
Oh, I'm going, Grant. I'm leaving Walford. I'm moving to New Zealand, because apparently that's where I'm from, I think. But before I do, I've got one last thing to tell you. I'm pregnant. Do you know what? That reminds me. That reminds me, I only ever had one duff, which I think is outrageous, actually. And the duff, I was undoing the buttons of my shirt. And I mean, look, I was just...
Is that like a big thing in the show to get a duff?
Oh, duff.
Is it?
People get jealous about duffs. Yeah, it's
Because
like...
it means you've got a big storyline.
Yeah.
Well, you're really sitting around in the green with a cup of tea, how many duffs have you read them?
No, it's much more underhand than that.
Is it? Now we're getting to the juicy stuff, aren't we? But we're going to stop talking about it now. We're going to talk about the ultimate horticultural horror show. It's not easy to say. Some local authorities are heralding. That's not easy to say either.
It's easier than horticulture.
Do you think? Heralding, horticulture. Anyway, end of hanging baskets, basically. They're removing them from towns and cities, claiming that they aren't biodiverse. I know, I agree with you. Katie, do you know your begonias from your Black-Eyed Susans?
Well, a hanging basket for me is the sign of a good pub. If a pub's got
That's
a
my
decent
girl.
hanging basket, I know it's going to have good chips, good gammon. I'll go and eat at that pub.
Yeah, but how many times have you been fooled with that? You
Well,
go
yeah, I
into the
know,
bottom
and it's
getting it's horrible.
Sticky floors inside.
Yeah.
But it's nostalgic for me because my mum and dad have hanging baskets, so it takes me straight back to my parents' house. They still have hanging baskets outside the
Are you
house.
saying they're
front and back.
old-fashioned?
No, well, it's
I
my
have hanging
childhood. It's the
baskets.
80s and 90s, yeah.
Ooh, that was a low blow. Did you see that?
There's a place for them. They definitely shouldn't go. I mean, for me, it's like safety and security. It's a nice, nice.
It's time's gone by, isn't it?
You
Think
haven't
of it
got
now.
hanging baskets.
I have.
Where?
On my hanging bits.
Is there anything that's actually alive
You
in your
can't
hanging
look after a
I
plant.
have to say, despite the stress, I'm not very green-fingered.
No.
I really am. Yeah, that's one of the plants.
Oh,
in my
that's
whole-
interesting.
Yeah, there you go. I rest my case,
I
my
keep
lord.
thinking that's going to come back to life.
Is that why you're keeping it?
Well, I don't know. I just don't like throwing things away.
It's a bit of a graveyard.
It's time.
Do
Do you know, I'm terrible at keeping plants alive, but I had a revelation recently. A friend brought me
An
a
epiphany.
terrarium.
They're very cool again now.
So, you know, like have we got a picture of a terrarium here? No. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's
There's
over,
one
you
there
can't
behind
see
you.
it. It's over there. But anyway, it's in a glass dome, so it's got its own little like ecosystem.
TikTokers
and I
are
never
making
have
them
to. I never have to water it
That's
because
very
the
clever.
condensation inside the glass just waters
I've got one
it.
cactus
It was the
that's
most
alive.
magical thing I had as a teenager. I had one of those, and that's what got me into plants. You never have to water them because it creates its own...
Low maintenance. You can go on your holiday, leave
It's
it.
beautiful,
Well,
yeah.
you're not into what got you into plants. You're not exactly blooming Percy thrower, either.
I was really into houseplants. I had about 50 when me and my first boyfriend, Blue Boy, finished. I let every single one die.
Was
And
that a
I can't
statement
believe
to
my
the
parents...
You've
didn't
always
ta-
been so dramatic.
I can't believe my parents didn't take me to a psychiatrist. That is not a normal thing to do.
is
Because
not.
I'd had them for years, I'd nurtured them, and they're all going to die, and they had to all die.
I used
Very
to be good
dramatic.
at plants. I don't know, maybe as I got older, I just don't care about
I've
them
literally
anymore.
had this for 3 minutes and it's dying already. Look, it's flopping.
But they're gorgeous when they're all overhanging and you
Yeah.
I know, that
real
one's too new.
statement ones.
What was that plant? I had one of those when I was in my 20s. Apologies, but you know the one with the big pink bulbous bit?
Yeah, I don't
Like
know
the
what it's
willy.
called.
Did you...
Why do you have to lower the
Do you know what I
tone?
mean? Do you know the one I mean? Did you have that one
Yes,
of those?
it's quite erect, the middle.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we always used to put an orchid, you know why, right next to it and go...
I hate an orchid. No, I don't like an orchid. They're really difficult to look after. If someone buys me an orchid, I think they don't like me. Because what nice flowers, gorgeous flowers.
Expensive.
Orchids always buy the till. It's a last-minute thought, don't you think?
I think we all need to go to psychiatrist. This is properly
But I'm
weird
old
now.
enough. Well, you're old enough as well. At school, I was taught macrame.
Just get Katie.
Do you remember macrame?
Yeah.
I was taught how to macrame
What's
at
macrame?
school, and we used
You
to
feel
macrame
glass,
the hanging where you put your plant pot in it. And now I go into shops and they're everywhere.
Oh, they're TikTok
they're back
crazy
in
as
it.
well.
The netty thing, is that what it is? Like the crochet?
Yeah.
Macramed
It's really trendy now.
Yeah, the world is going right back round again. It absolutely is. Cheese plants, remember your cheese plants.
Do you remember when you had to get
plant.
a baby spider plant on your spider plant?
Dust
look,
your plant, though. You'd have to dust it and clean it and polish the plant.
Yeah.
Put it
You
in
can
the
tell it's
bath.
Friday. We spent 4 minutes talking about Still to come, we're going to be talking to Matt Willis from Busted. We have got a controversial wedding dilemma and we're asking whether your parents' relationship is always the blueprint for your own, or if having parents with too healthy a relationship can actually set you up for a fall. Join us for that next. Welcome back. Still to come.
A bottle of champagne, a couple of wines, another bottle of champagne, and more. And more is a reference to drugs.
Well, that was Emma Willis opening up about her husband Matt's addiction. The Busted star will be telling us how their 15-year marriage is stronger than ever and how they teamed up with celebrity friends, including our Frankie, for a very important cause. And we're talking parental love, outdated wedding traditions and your ultimate holiday gripes. Now, before any of that, it is competition time. Your chance to win £250,000. The countdown is on as lines close today. Kate Lawler is live for us with all the details. Hi, Kate, where are you?
Good morning and welcome back to day 2 of WinFest, our very own ITV Win Festival. We're having it large today. We've had headline acts, we've had food, we've got people here celebrating the biggest prize, one of the biggest prizes of the year so far. Come on, guys! £250,000 could be yours, and lines close at the end of today. You've got less than 4 hours. 4 p.m. today is the time that the lines close for you to win £250,000, £250,000 cash. What would you spend the money on? Where would you go? Who would you treat? Look at her. She looks absolutely beautiful. If you want to win, you've got to be in it. You've got to pick up your phone and get entering. The quickest way to enter is by phone. Here are all the details you need to enter our glorious cash competition. For another chance to win, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Cash 27, PO Box 7558, Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close today at 4 p.m. Good luck. Good luck, everybody.
I've been aware of it time.
My earpiece has fallen out. My earpiece has fallen out. I can't hear a thing. £250,000.
That's all right, Kate. You know, it's such a coincidence. I was going to wear that outfit today. Isn't that really strange? Now, Nadia, you're looking fantastic, just back from a family holiday.
Is my tan really annoying you?
Yeah, it is annoying us quite a lot, isn't it, audience? Yeah.
It's quite annoying, isn't it? Even I'm jealous of my tan.
Yeah. But while you're away on holiday, Maddie, your daughter Maddie, posted a lovely thing on Instagram.
She really did. It was a photo that she took, actually, and it just said something like, don't settle for... Well, what did it say? Something lovely. Get yourself someone who looks at you the way my dad looks at my mum.
Did you know that picture was being taken then? Or you didn't know?
Well, she took that picture, but I wasn't aware of that moment. But it's funny, actually. That's very similar to a photo on our wedding day when Mark was looking at me just like that. But it really did make me emotional. First of all, I made it to her feed, which never happened before.
Main grid.
But you've only got the back of my head. But also, I think because we've always been so honest with them, like, you know, rowed in front of them, talked about our couples counselling, talked about rehab, you know, just we bicker, everything. I thought that was just so lovely that she she also sees that.
Yeah.
She sees all the mess of a marriage, but she also sees...
Well, the reality.
There was I found that really moving and life-affirming,
Did you cry then?
I did, actually, and I said to Mark as well, because I loved it. I loved that she'll probably kill me now for talking about it.
So do you think then that's what they'll be looking for? I mean, is it that thing that, you know, your parents' relationship, for good or for bad, I suppose, becomes a blueprint for yours?
We have had that said sometimes by the girls, saying, oh, but what if we can't have a relationship like yours? which sometimes has been very funny to say, you sure you want this again? So I think it can be. It can set the bar quite high.
It's a pedestal, actually.
It can be a bit, I
But it's
think,
just a connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whether
yeah.
you're arguing or whether you're having a lovely time, it's a connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they see and you know, either
suppose
way.
For you, Jane, it must have been different because you were kind of brought up by your mum.
Yeah, it was just me and my mum. But in a way, I think that was quite freeing because for me, it was, I didn't particularly have a blueprint of a man in my life in that sense. So I think a lot of my friends from school, and you look at things through, it's funny, when you look at things, when you go to people's houses as a kid and you're going for tea, and you think, oh, you know, their mum and dad are together and da-da-da-da. And I look back through adult eyes and I think, oh, God, yeah, he was a bit of a control freak. Yeah. She was a complete mouse, or the other way around. But you don't see it like that as a child. But I think a lot of my friends who come from what they would call a perfect family home struggle because they spend their whole lives trying to replicate that
So
without realising the sort of
and they won't realise it's not perfect.
the warts and all bit of it. You know?
I think it can go both ways. It can inspire you to be nothing like that, or you, like you said, you might replicate it. I think with my parents, I saw that they respected each other, they supported each other through good and bad times. They weren't as open as say, you and Mark are, but they definitely inspired me to realise how important that stability is for children. So I definitely parent with my husband how they parented us together and try and, you know, replicate that sort of environment they gave us as kids.
Yeah.
My poor kids have seen me get out of the car at traffic lights, storm all the way to Mark driving along. Oh, come on, get there. No, you got to be joking. No way. That's why it was, like, extra special. It was like,
at least that is authentic. That is, and that does
it's real.
happen. It's not bad if that happens. You know, it's normal.
Yeah, my mum and dad were like that. They were very tempestuous,
feisty.
shall we say.
Yeah.
But, you know, as you say, they had a connection, whereas with lots of couples, particularly long-term relationships, it can just kind of become a bit stale, really.
Yeah.
And you're sort of like housemates rather than there being any great connection between you. But it's interesting, we had a relationship expert, John Aitken, who says seeing parents with a strong romantic relationship can leave children with relentlessly high standards.
Yeah, that's what I was
They become perfectionistic, which I didn't even know was a word, really, and have a strong need to please because they have been around these great role models.
Have you ever seen any of the Kardashians with Kourtney Kardashian and her new fella?
No.
Oh, my goodness, they, like, constantly properly snogging, picks her up, like, and you've always got all these kids just totally... I mean, you've never seen anything like it.
So you don't snog Mark in front of your kids?
Oh, no, because I think,
Is it a relatively new relationship?
Well, but no relationship has ever been like that, you know. It's just insane, like, just whole floors of flowers when she just comes back from the supermarket.
Oh,
and I always think
no hanging baskets.
No hanging baskets. Shitloads of flowers, and I always think, are these kids going to grow up thinking that's what's going to happen?
Yeah, and also there's a difference between, you know, your parents being romantic and being overly sexual, whatever your boundaries are, or obsessive or controlling, because, you know, codependent, etc. There's all these things that can give the appearance of being perfection. But actually, underneath it, it's... I mean, would you snog Richie full on in front of the kids?
I just wouldn't snog him at all. I wouldn't, because my kids, you know, they're 9 and 5, and it would actually, I think, embarrass them. I think my 9-year-old would separate us physically if we tried.
Yeah, I know, they are uncomfortable with it. It's like the eye rolling and goodness knows.
They used to say we prefer you to fight than kiss.
I think it's just the climate you grew up in, isn't it? Because I know for a fact our girls will always end up with someone with a good sense of humour. Because they've had Gary, and it's it's like that. And you know, it's always been. There's always a punchline. There's always a. And so I think when they go to other people's houses, sometimes they go, oh, Mum, they're so quiet. Their house is so quiet.
Yeah, Maddie used to say that. I went to this house, we could hear the clock ticking.
That sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? And still to come. The sun on your skin, the sea lapping at your feet, sand between your toes. Holiday season is upon us. But we're not talking about what we love about holidays. No, we are sharing our ultimate holiday gripes. Miserable so-and-sos that we are. And busted Matt Willis is here. He'll be bravely opening up about his battle with addiction, as well as telling us about teaming up with our Frankie, his wife Emma, and a host of other celebs for a very important cause. Don't go anywhere. Loose man, Stacey's other half, and doting dad. Joe Swash joins us to talk about his emotional documentary investigating foster care for teens, how he wanted to do so much more for the young people he met.
It's so sad.
And his fostering vow with Stacey.
I do think it was something that we could look into.
That's Monday, 12:30 on Loose Women. Welcome back to your Friday's Loose Women Live. Getting you in the mood for the weekend, it is Katie Piper, Nadia Sawala, Jane Moore and me, Kay Adams. Still to come, it wasn't so much a summer of '69 for Nadia last week on her jollies, at least we don't think so, but she'll be telling us about her hotel room fail as we share our ultimate holiday gripes. We'll also be sharing the story of the disgruntled father of the bride and his strong-minded daughter as we talk wedding traditions and the role emotional blackmail can sometimes play in the big day. Now, today's guest is 1/3 of the pop rock band Busted. In their heyday, they had 4 number ones, won 2 Brit Awards and performed around the world. But it was on tour that Matt Willis's addiction ran out of control. Today, he's 5 years clean and recently released a tell-all documentary about his journey. So talking about that, his future plans and why he's making his mission to help others, give a very warm welcome to Matt Willis.
Hi, good to see you. Hi.
Nice to see you.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Oh, yeah, really good.
I sit in the middle. It feels
No, I know.
quite nice.
Well, listen, before we talk all about everything we're going to talk about, I have to say, she goes on and on about Annie Palmer all the time now. You've been in EastEnders 3 times, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I was
yeah.
rollerblader number 2. I was boy thrown out of nightclub. I was, I can't remember my character's name.
Luke.
Isn't that bad? Luke.
Stacey
Yes.
Slater's ex.
Yes,
That was it.
Stacey
Oh,
Slater.
yeah.
Did you ever get doof, doof, doof?
I think we did get a doof, doof, doof.
There you go. That's where it's at.
Yeah. There you go. I just had to do that just to sort of shut her up a little bit. So your documentary, which we've all watched, Fighting Addiction, it was a very, very powerful piece about your journey and your family's journey, really.
Yeah.
What was the reaction to it?
I mean, it's been, if I'm honest, I was terrified putting it out. You know, we saw so many different edits and kind of different ways of doing it. And, I mean, we went to so many places, so many different centres and so many different kind of rehabs and kind of different things that people were using to help themselves. But then whenever we put it in, it kind of took away from what was the heart of the story, which I think was the kind of missed talking point, was the fact that it's not always just about the addicts, it's about the kind of ripple effect of that on the people that love them. You know, and I think that was kind of what was the heart of the story in a way. And through that, we were able to kind of tell those stories of what addiction is and what it's not, and kind of, you know, through a bit more of an empathetic eye.
It's one thing you wanted to tell your story, but then it's Emma's story too.
Absolutely, yeah, completely. And she was, if I'm honest, she was reluctant to come on at the beginning. She
I can understand that.
Yeah, and there's something about kind of dredging up the past, you know. I mean, in our relationship, it's not like we didn't ever talk about that stuff, but it was kind of, that was then and this is now, we move forward.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like Pandora's box.
You don't want to go through life with wing mirrors.
Exactly, you know, keep kind of looking at the past. But by doing that and kind of going through it, it was amazing for us. Like, we've kind of come out of it so much stronger. We've talked about so many things that we never have talked about and should have, maybe, you know, and we'll definitely should have. And it's made us so much stronger.
But it was also amazing for other people, wasn't it? Because you got a great reaction to it from the public, didn't you?
Yeah, it's been kind of overwhelming, the kind of reaction, you know. But I think that's the thing. It's like, for me, I've learned the most in recovery from talking to other people who have gone through it and kind of learning their stories and relating to them, getting kind of strength and hope from different people. And this was just a much larger scale that we got to do that on, you know. So and I've been getting those messages through kind of from people that help.
It's kind of like my husband is also sober. He's been 18 years sober.
18 years, wow, amazing.
So it was very, very powerful for us. We were in tears at many points through it. But what I was struck by, because it was very helpful to me going to Al-Anon and these, I was really struck by the fact that Emma had done this like on her own. Because as they say, isn't it? It's like, look for the similarities, not the differences in what other people.
Absolutely.
And that's that that can be so healing.
Yeah.
I really wanted to know whether that's something now that she finds comfort in other meetings and sharing those.
No, she hasn't.
It's harder if you're off the telly, though. Let's be honest. It is harder.
Exactly. She hasn't, but we've done kind of couples counselling and things, and it's kind of been much more open and honest about things, and the things that that I do, which I don't realise, which still trigger her from those days.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not drinking and using drugs anymore, but I'm still. It's all behaviour with me. You know,
the white knuckling days,
exactly,
isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like, and for her, it's like she was always scared to bring things up in case it kind of made me spiral. You know, when actually it does the opposite, because I'm at a point now where I'm just like,
let's put it on the table
on the
and
table.
talk about
That's
it.
I love you're not on the eggshells anymore. It's authentic and it's
I love
that
that you had this real quest to find out, you know, where does this ism come from? What is it? And you've now got a podcast, so I'm really excited to start listening to that.
Yeah.
With all sorts of people talking about addiction and mental health issues, is that right?
Yeah, kind of lots of different issues. I mean, it sparked for me because through addiction, really, I kind of wanted to carry on these conversations I was having. And I had so many incredible, insightful conversations with people. A lot of them didn't, unfortunately, make the edit. But then it was, I just wanted to carry that on. And I'm so inquisitive about it. I'm such a, I'm a nightmare. I'm just researching and reading stuff all the time. And I wanted to talk to these people. And there's something about getting in a room for a couple of hours and just going, right, let's find out everything. And there's something about that which opens the other person up as well. And then in turn I can open up, and it shows me more about myself. It shows everyone more about them. You know, so there's lots of
Podcast is very intimate as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a much easier way to talk. But tell me about your kids, because you've got a 14-year-old, haven't you? So who obviously would have been very aware of all of this. How did you prepare her for all of it?
I mean, that was a worry for me, because she's at an age now where I was like, she's got to watch it. You know, and she knows, like, Daddy doesn't drink, you know, and I've always kind of said things like, it doesn't suit me, or, you know, I'm not very good at that, you know, and those kind of things, kind of brushing it off. But then we watched it together. Me and Emma watched it with Isabel. We kind of took her upstairs and we watched it together. And it was a beautiful, amazing experience, because obviously she knew much more than I thought she did. You know, and she asked the most incredible, kind of intelligent questions. And I think that's the thing with kids, is that we kind of try to kind of shelter them from the bad stuff, you know, to protect them in some way. But actually, she was so ready for it, and she kind of knew what to ask.
You know what? She'll be so in awe of what you do, because it's not easy to be a sober person in a world where we have to apologise for not drinking. You know, and you know, our daughters. I watched the pride in their dads. So you've got all that. You've got all that tea coming.
And you have been trekking with our Frankie.
I have, yeah. I made her get in a wheelie bin full of ice.
Oh, good.
About.
She deserves it, that child.
Yeah.
This was the Copperfield trek. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I did one a few years ago, and it was the most amazing experience I've had in a long time. It was so incredible. And we did like 100 kilometres through up and down mountains and things with this amazing group of women and some men who've been affected by breast cancer in some way. And it's just, there's something about walking and talking, which is just the most beautiful experience. And I feel really honoured to be part of it, because I kind of get to experience these conversations which I would normally have no place in, you know, and I get to kind of be a part of them, and people tell me things, and I'm like, wow, that's
How are your feet at the end of it, though?
absolutely ruined.
Yeah.
Still got blisters and
So
scars.
that mindful experience, you're going back out with Busted.
Yeah.
Is there a little worry there? Because obviously rock and roll. Are you worried about that being a bit of a trigger?
It's been troublesome for me in the past.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say to me, you know, like, I always hear the term, you know, you go to the barbers, you'll get your hair cut, you know, and it's kind of like, but I feel really...
What does that mean?
Well, if you keep going to the barbers, eventually you'll get your hair cut.
Oh, right.
You know, so you kind of... sorry, that's a recovery term. You know, so you keep hearing these things, and if you put yourself in dangerous situations, it's dangerous. You know, but I'm really strong in what I want and what I don't want, and what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do. And
it's different this time, because you've laid it all on the table, haven't you? There's no hiding.
Yeah, there's no hiding. And you know, in a band, it's a really weird relationship, because you're not brothers, you're you're friends, but you're not colleagues. You're kind of this weird mismatch of all three. But at the root of it, we love each other in some weird way that we never show. You know, so it's, but we do, you know, so they want me to be well and they want me to be happy and I want them to be well and happy. And so there's certain parameters that
And they'll be keeping an eye on you.
They'll be keeping, I think everyone's going to be keeping.
That must be so annoying.
There's no hiding
Exactly.
place now.
Now, put the dog out, everyone's like, what are you up to?
Yeah.
All right, just go to the
Good to
toilet.
feel the love. there.
Exactly,
Good to feel
definitely.
That respect and love.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
Matt, listen, it's been lovely to have you
So
with us.
lovely.
It really has.
Thanks.
Fighting Addiction's a documentary.
Thank you for your
It's
fantastic
a
documentary.
great piece, really worth watching. And On the Mend is the podcast. Matt Willis, everyone. If you've been affected by anything that we've been speaking to Matt about today, please go to our website where you'll find information, help and support about addiction. Lots more still to come. We are talking wedding disasters and holiday gripes. That's next. From hogging sun loungers to clapping when the plane lands, we are talking holiday gripes. We'll be sharing ours and some of yours too. And wedding season is here. Hold tight to hear the ultimate dilemma between the father of the bride and his strong-minded daughter. But who is in the wrong? You decide. Well, that was terrible. Sorry.
Who were you trying to be?
And sorry, it's awful, awful. Competition time again. Your chance to win a life-changing £250,000. Katie is live. Kate, not Kate. Kate is live with all the details. Hi, Kate. Hi, Kate.
Hello, loose ladies. How you doing? It's day 2 of WinFest, our very own ITV Win Festival, and I'm at the bar. I need a cocktail. It's after lunch. Why not? Cashmopolitan, anyone? Life Changer Lager, Money Mojito, Winner Wine Cooler. I'll have the Cashmopolitan, please, Harriet. Thank you so much. That is delicious. And we're here to celebrate one of our biggest cash prizes of the year so far, £250,000. We're here with East Sussex School of Circus Acts. Take it away, babes. She makes it look so easy. And just imagine what your life would be like if you won £250,000. The opportunities are endless. What would you spend your money on? Would you pay off your mortgage? Would you treat your family to a nice holiday? Would you buy a new car? Look at that. Red hot cash could be yours. But the big news is that lines close at 4 p.m. today. 4 p.m. today. You only have a few hours left to enter our competition, and we make real winners here at ITV. There is a guaranteed winner for every prize, and I would love that prize to be going into your bank account. So what are you waiting for? Pick up the phone, get entering. You could be winning £250,000 in tax-free cash. Here are all the details.
For another chance to win, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website. Entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Cash 27, PO Box 7558, Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close today at 4 p.m. Good luck.
Oggy, oggy, oggy!
Aye, aye, aye!
Oggy, oggy, oggy!
Aye, aye,
Oh, it's popping off here at WinFest. Good luck. 4 p.m. today is when the lines close, and £250,000 could be yours. Good luck, everybody. Let's have it.
There she goes. I don't know what you're drinking, Kate, but I'll have a pint of it. Thank you very much. Now, wedding season is in full swing, but one father of the bride's turmoil has sparked a huge debate online. His daughter has said she doesn't want him to walk her down the aisle because he doesn't... You're ahead of me. Because he doesn't own her. And so she doesn't want to be given away. As a result, Dad says he respects her decision, but apparently is refusing to pay for her wedding day. Jane, what do you think?
Well, it's a funny old one, isn't it? Because I kind of get, I think young women now, there is that thing of, there's that line, isn't there? Who gives this woman to be married to this man? And that is very old-fashioned now. I mean, I think we're way past that. So you could maybe take that line out. Maybe have both your parents walking you down the aisle, whatever. But we don't know the details of this story. But say, for example, she has been saying to him, Dad, it's so patriarchal. You know, we're not in a patriarchal society anymore. I don't need a man to da-da-da-da-da. I do understand if he's turned around and gone, well, maybe then you don't want that patriarchal person to pay for your wedding. You can,
exactly.
You can pay for it yourself in that case, if you're going to be that independent. So I sort of see it from both sides.
Katie?
Yeah. Well, I think it depends what your relationship was like with your dad growing up. You know, my dad gave me everything, so I was really excited to give him the chance to get rid of me.
I think he deserved it.
It was about time. Never thought it would happen. Yeah. But so it was like, he felt like, well, he's given me so much and I can give him this moment that hopefully he'll treasure forever. But I actually think it's out of date to expect your parents to pay for your wedding because weddings are really expensive. Life is really expensive. My mum and dad have got 3 kids. If they paid for my wedding, they'd have to pay for my brothers and my sisters. So I think that expectation should be gone. If you want to get married, then hopefully maybe your family can contribute to something, but they shouldn't have to pay for the whole thing anyway, I don't think.
I think you can't pick and choose the old-fashioned bits, can you?
But I think you can now with weddings, aren't they? I mean, there's much more freedom to sort of choose the vows.
Oh, that's
choose
what I
the way
meant.
that you want to.
I meant that.
Okay.
I just said it the wrong way round.
So we're agreeing with each other? This is lovely.
No, what I mean is you can't... I think, you know, I totally agree with Jane. If it was like, well, I'm too independent, then, and he says, well, I'm not paying for the wedding, then I think that's right. But when there's blackmail that goes on in weddings, I think that's a different thing.
It does go on, doesn't it?
It always has. But I think if you truly
blackmail's
want
maybe a
your
bit
own
strong.
wedding, pay for your own wedding, and if that means a really small wedding in the back, in your back garden, then do that, because then you can have the wedding that you want.
I mean, some people do wield money as a weapon, don't they?
Yeah.
You see countless examples of, like, if somebody else is paying, they'll sort of say, well, I think you should have these flowers and I think you should sing these hymns. And they almost like it becomes their wedding rather than your wedding.
Yeah. I was earwigging in the airport because we were so many hours overdue. And there was one with such a fascinating story talking about her. I was pretending I was asleep, but talking about her dad and everything that he was doing and all this power he was wielding over the day. And I just thought, my God, I wish he was here overhearing this, because you're actually breaking her heart with all these...
So do you not think it is the parents' day too? Because do you think it's just the bride and groom's day?
I think they should definitely feature.
Yeah, because I think it is a shared
I do get
day.
the whole who gives this woman to... As if, like, a man has to give you away to another man.
Well, you do get your kids to the point of being ready to go off and build their own family. So I do see it as a bit of a collaborative day.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's all about communication. Maybe if she said, listen, Dad, it would be so lovely, let's do this thing, but can we just have in our heads that, you know, you're just proud to walk with me down the aisle and this isn't really, you know, but and that's always the key to everything. If you say how you really feel, rather than get... And I think what happens so often in weddings, there's this febrile bubbling and people get... And it's such a shame.
How does that go?
and then it's such a shame because so many people are then upset with their wedding.
Well, hold on to that feeling and put it onto a sun lounger. Because from family weddings to family holidays, and, well, actually, this is not about sun lounger, though we'll get onto that. You had a bit of a fallout in your hotel room with Mark on holiday, didn't you?
A fall down the crack.
Well, let's have a look.
We are not complainers, right? So we came into our hotel room, like, however many days ago, and this is what faced us.
What do you mean? The gulf between us is getting bigger and bigger.
What is this about Spanish hotels? We're a double...
Spanish? Mediterranean.
We're a double room, just means 2 beds.
Why does no one have sex?
Mark, don't mention sex. Oh, God, he's so annoying.
He spent a fair amount of that holiday with one leg down the crack. But it was funny because that was on my Instagram and there were so many posts from women saying, oh, I love it, I love a Spanish hotel when you go in and there's twin beds.
But they tell you it's a double room and it's not.
Yeah, that just means double. There's 2 and it was... But actually, I slept so well and I did bring up the topic. I said to him, how about we do this... honestly, I thought he was going to spontaneously combust. I explained to him a double bottom, but 2 beds.
So he didn't sleep well, then?
But it doesn't... I know we're not supposed to mention, but it doesn't stop you having sex, does it?
Well, no, but there is a journey across. And I think when you've been married...
ropes.
Yeah, when you've been married for 20 years... You know, do you remember the days when they would walk for hours to find you, but like a journey across the ravine now is too much.
But you would be shattered because you were up at 5:30 in the morning trying to get a sun lounge.
Well, between 7 and 7:30, I was...
That's illegal now. It's
well,
banned.
not if you stay there, if you go off. So this is what I did. I literally laid across 5 beds. Because I was sending you videos. Was I I've come on holiday by accident.
So stressful.
I'm down here, I'm exhausted. But then one day, the towel police came and ripped all the towels off. And I was like,
Good.
it made me a nasty person. Like, I was having a go at everybody else, but actually I was now the first person down there. But I did forego breakfast often so that I didn't leave the beds.
It's very competitive,
But then when I did go to breakfast, buffet breakfasts, I mean, that brings out... you can't help it, can you? In an all-inclusive, however hard you try, you're constantly going, well, hang on a minute. What did I have? I had 1 pancake, I had a coffee, she had half orange juice. I've paid more here than if I'd gone to a cafe. Well, and I was going to Mark, look, I've had a whole bottle of rosé. And he went, well, you can have a whole bottle of rosé. It's all inclusive.
At breakfast?
They were drinking... No, they were getting whole bottles of Carver at breakfast.
Yeah. But do you still...
Caroline here is saying we went on holiday to Blackpool once and there were some people at the buffet breakfast and dinner who went up and filled their plates completely 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
There is no need for greed. Kathleen is totally on your side there.
Mind you, I was putting hard-boiled eggs down my bikini. I tell you, ever since I've got these empty sacks since losing weight, it's great for storing food. So I was like, you know, just talk. And I was putting boiled eggs. Because we weren't having a lot of breakfast like other people were. And the all-inclusive lunch, everyone wanted a boiled egg sandwich.
Well,
so...
we steal the fruit and the croissants and put them in the beach bag for later. But I think it's not stealing. I think you're allowed to do that, don't you?
I do think it's an age thing, though, because we were disgusted by my dad. He'd bring his flight bag, he'd have it next to the thing, and then he'd suddenly go, oh, no, here we go. And he'd lean over like this, and all this food would fall out. We'd stuffed it, and we were disgusted. And now I'm doing about it.
Yeah, it's
and I don't think it is legal. You're not allowed to
Not
do it.
legal. Jane, what's your gripes?
Oh, well, I could do a whole show, whole hour. People in security queues that stand there doing nothing for half an hour and then they get to the thing and start emptying all their pockets, which they could have done in the queue. But the thing... So, you know, Gary and I liked a holiday and you're there, you've got your sun lounger, you've got your bottle of rosé, it's all lovely, jubbly, and then you hear...
With those...
And there's 2 grown adults playing bat and ball. Right at the end of your sun lounger.
And what about when they're topless?
But you would never do that at home.
That would be me.
On a beach.
We're that family.
Oh, yeah.
We're reading books together.
Oh, no way.
Katie, let's have a go.
She did this to us when we all went to Spain on holiday.
Gotta go.
It
That's it
needs
for
to
today.
be wooden to get there.
Techniques show swash Dame Sheila Hancock and Wham's Andrew Ridgely join us. Have a fabulous weekend, everyone. We'll see you Monday.